Hey guys, I hope that I'm live right now. If you guys are able to listen to me properly as well as there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know, guys. Hello everyone, I hope that I'm live right now. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. If there's no issues with the audio or the video, please do let me know, guys. There's no issues. Okay, great, great. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Okay, so how was your day, guys? Let me know. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So, how was your day, guys? Do let me know. All right. Okay. Good. It went great. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. So it was amazing, I guess. So let me know, guys. So many of you are from various different backgrounds and various different colleges as well. Let me know from which branch are you. Like, for example, if you are from commerce, write commerce. If you are from civil, write civil. If you are from IT, write IT. If you are from chemical, do let me know. If you are from MBA, write MBA as well. Okay, great. So people are from CSC, cybersecurity, PCE, BCA, IoT. We are MBA, we are MCA, ECE, BCA, electrical, ETCE, pharmacy. Okay, for pharmacy as well. Geoinformatics, great. Commerce, again, great. Geomathematics, geoinformatics. Geoinformatics, not many number of students are from there. That's a particular background that I'm also not very familiar with. Okay, great. Mechanical engineering. Okay, great. Amazing, guys. Amazing. BCom. Okay. Artificial intelligence. Great. So as you're able to see, there are a lot many number of people who are Ayurveda. Okay, that one is really special for me as well. ICT. Okay, great. Electronics and instrumentation. IC. Okay, great. Okay, so a lot of aeronautical sciences. Amazing. Civil diploma, but now BTech in CSE. Okay, that's also great. Mechatronics. Amazing. Great, man. Robotics. I also at one particular point of time I was very interested in robotics, but then I found that I was not able to get a job in that. So I was like, "Ish, I will stick back to CSE itself." So great, amazing, man, amazing. Um, so can somebody remind me what are the different topics that we have studied in our yesterday's class, guys? What are the different topics that we studied in our yesterday's class? Please do let me know. I'm drinking coffee. Okay, we studied about variables. Okay, we studied about functions. We didn't first studied about functions. Okay, variables and their meaning, typecasting, string manipulation. That is not something that we have studied. Okay, okay, we studied about Google Colab. Okay, okay, printing output. Uh, okay, so mainly we have studied about variables yesterday. Today, our aim is to at least complete data types. Okay, we'll be starting out with integers and floats. Then we'll be moving on to Boolean operators and Boolean data types as well. Then we'll be moving out to strings and string methods. This is something that I am planning to cover up by today. And then tomorrow we'll be covering up data structures. So that will be something that we'll be covering, in which we'll be having lists, we're having tuples and dictionaries. That is what we have planned out for the next 2 days, guys. Okay. Google Chrome is not working in Chrome Android. If that's the case, then just there will be a three button on the top of right hand side top corner of your mobile phone Chrome. Just click on that and click on open in desktop mode. Okay, open in desktop mode. That would work for you guys. Okay, Pythonic conventions and rules. That's great. Okay. Is taking a break for 1 to 2 years between college and job okay since I have health issues? a code bulletin, like I'm able to understand that you are having some health issues and it might render you so like having some problems in your job as well. But I don't think so that's a good thing to do. My suggestion would be do not have any break right over there. Continue with your job as well. But that would be a personal opinion. Okay. Okay. So should we start off with our today's class, guys? Please do let me know. Should we start off with our today's class, guys? Please do let me know, guys. So we'll be discussing about the roadmap for data scientists, data analyst, all that on day 5. Okay, that is our plan. Okay, we'll be discussing about what you need to study, what and how you are able to get internships and job opportunities right over there. Okay, so don't worry about it. Are you guys able to listen to me properly? Is there some problem with my voice or something like that? Somebody's telling my voice is low and you are not able to hear me. Is that a problem with everybody or that's like a particular person's problem itself? Please do let me know, guys. No problem. Okay, everybody is able to listen to me properly. Am I right? Like my voice is not that great right now because I have to speak continuously the entire day, so my voice has become something like this. But I will try to make sure that like you guys are able to listen to me properly as much as possible. Okay. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So yesterday we were using this particular Google Colab notebook as you are able to see. Okay, so we'll be continuing our entire study right over there itself. Okay, I will just open up the live chat on my mobile phone so that I'm able to see your chats as well. So give me a second, guys. So how many of you are into like anime or something like that? So I want a blockchain developer roadmap. So Ganesh, I actually have like one of my friends is a blockchain developer. So I will ask him definitely to I will arrange a boot camp with him so that you guys are also able to uh, like know about that as well. Okay. Okay, great. So we'll discuss about anime like once we get bored with the data types that exist in Python. Okay, so what is data type? Let's try to understand that. Now in Python, as you were able to see, we had different kinds of data that was there. Sometimes we had data that looked like a number. Sometimes we had data that didn't look like an integer. It looked like a decimal point number. Sometimes we had data that were into particular quotation marks that looked a bit different. So all these different types of data that exists in Python, so each of them have their own types, and that is what we are going to study right now. We're going to start off with the very basics of them, that is the integers and floats. Okay, so far the numbers that we have dealt with were mostly whole numbers that we also known as integers. Okay, but you must have noticed that some other numbers also exist. For example, dividing one integer by another gives us a number that isn't quite an integer. It's a decimal point value, and that is called as float or floating point number in Python. Okay, so let us look at some of the examples right over here. Okay, you're having print 3 divided by 2. 3 and 2 both are integers. Okay, 3 and 2 both are integers. So 3 divided by 2, you should be getting an integer, but you are getting a value that isn't quite an integer, that is 1.5. Okay, you are getting 1.5 right over here. Okay. I'm not able to see your suggestions right now, guys. I will come back to like the live chat once I've taught a bit. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, so numbers with a decimal point such as 3.14 are called as floating point numbers or floats. Note that even though the value 42 is an integer, even though the value 42 is an integer, the number 42.0 will be identified as a floating point number. Okay, so if two integers are divided, then also we get a float as an answer. Let's look at something like this. You are having a is equals to 3 that is an integer, b is equals to 2.5, that is a float. We can use an inbuilt function, just like you are having an inbuilt function like print, to print something out to your screen. Another function that we are having is called as the type function. Okay, another function that we are having is called as the type function. Okay, so type function is basically used to showcase the type of an object. Okay, which data type does that object belong to? Right now we know that, okay, a is a particular integer, b is a particular floating point number, but to be able to check that, you can use this type function to be able to see what is the type of that data. Okay, so I'm running this particular line of code. If I'm running this particular cell of code, we are able to see that the class, okay, that is the type of A. The type of A is basically integer, and the type of B is basically float. Are you guys able to understand why we are using type, guys? Are you able to understand why we are using type? Please let me know, guys. Okay, great, amazing, guys. So type is an inbuilt function in Python that basically tells you the data type of an object. Here we are checking the data type of A, then we are checking the data type of B, and we're getting int and float as our answer. Okay, an operation. So for example, if you are having something like this, okay, let's try to understand an operation between an integer and an integer. For example, 3 plus 3 will always be a integer itself. Okay, 3 plus 3 is 6. Okay, now this is something that you already know from plain old mathematics. This is plain old mathematics. 3 plus 3 would be 6. 3 minus 3 would be 0, again an integer. Okay, then you are having 3 multiplied by 3, that will also be an integer. But when you are doing 3 divided by 3, although both of them are integer right over here, 3 as well as 3, both of them are integer right over here, but 3 divided by 3 would result into a number that is a float. Okay, when you are having a operation between an integer and an integer, and that operation is division, in that case you will always get float as an answer, because 3 divided by 3 is always float. Okay, any type of integer divided by integer will always be float. Similarly, if you are having any kind of operation in between an integer and a float, if you are having any kind of operation between an integer and a float, for example 3 plus 3.5 or something like that, then you will always give a float as an answer. Okay, you will always get float as an answer. For example, 3 plus 3.5 is 6.5, a float. You're having 3 multiplied by 3.5, that will also be a float. You're having 3 divided by 3.5, that will also be a float. 3 minus 3.5, that will also be a float. Any kind of operation between an integer and a float will always be a float at the end of the day. And of course, any kind of operation between a float and a float will always be a float. So 3.5, 4 multiplied by 3.2 would always be an float. Okay, if you are adding them up, subtracting them, dividing it, it will always give a float as an answer. Okay, so please try to remember this. This is plain old mathematics, plain old junior level mathematics, guys. This is not something from like Python in general. It's plain old mathematics. Okay, so please, this is very important, guys. Okay, great. So for those who weren't able to hear me properly, just rewind the video and watch it again, because this isn't something that is very difficult. Okay, so whenever you are having, so every time you will get float as an answer. Anything that you are doing, you will always get float, except when you are doing addition between integers, subtraction between integers, and multiplication between integers. Whenever you are having addition, subtraction, and multiplication between integers, the answer will be integers. Anything else will always be a float. Anything else would always be a float, guys. Okay, please try to remember this. Please try to remember this, guys. Okay, great. So next, let's try to move on to the next portion. Now, when you are having an integer, we can convert one integer. We can convert an integer to a float and a float to an integer as well. We can convert an integer value to a float and a float value to an integer as well. So let's look at this. Okay, let us look at this right over here. So you're having a is equals to float. Okay, when you want to convert, so 3 is an integer. As you are able to see, 3 is an integer right over here. So when you want to convert an integer to a float, whenever you want to convert an integer to a float, you just have to write before it float. You have to just put a parenthesis and just write float. So that will convert that integer to a float itself. Okay, that will basically convert that integer to a float. Now whenever you're converting an integer to a float, the answer would just be whatever the integer is, 0.0. That's it. That is how it is able to convert that integer to a float. Whatever that answer is, you just need to add 0.0, and that is how that integer will be converted to a float value. Similarly, if you want to convert an floating point number to a integer, if you want to convert a floating point number to an integer, the answer would be whatever is present after the decimal point. Whatever is present after the decimal point, just remove it. Okay, just remove everything after the decimal point. So the answer, even if it is 28.1 or 28.4 or 28.9, I don't care about it. The answer always would be 28. The answer always would be 28. So if you are converting a float to an integer, everything will be removed after the decimal point. Similarly, if you are converting an integer to a float, we'll just add 0.0 at the end. Okay. The material has already been provided to you in yesterday's class, Praveen Kumar. Okay, yesterday itself we have provided you guys the material for the class itself. We are using the same class. Okay, we are using the same notes right now. So if you have no access to the notes, you can just go to yesterday's class video. In the description of the yesterday's class video, we have already provided you the link of the notebook. Okay, so if you don't know where the notes are, I've told you guys right now. Okay. Okay, so as you are able to see, when I am running this particular line of code, you are able to see 3.0 and 28 on your screen. Okay, 3.0 and 28 on your screen. One of the very important points that you guys need to remember is that, so this is a particular portion that will be very difficult for you guys to understand. So please make sure that you guys are listening to me very carefully right over here. Okay. Please try to make sure that, so we aren't rounding anything off in this. We are not rounding anything off. We're just converting it to an integer. So it is not, we are not rounding it off to the nearest decimal point, the nearest integer. We are just converting it into an integer. So it will just remove everything after the decimal point. That's it. Okay. Okay, great. So now guys, for those who are using, so Ayush is, I think so, using this particular YouTube for the very first time, you can just go to the settings and increase the quality of the video, guys. Okay, so it won't be blurred. Okay. Okay, so let's try to understand right over here, guys. Okay, you are having this entire, so this particular point that I'm trying to make you guys understand, this won't be available in any course. Okay, any course that you are seeing, it won't contain this point. This point is something that you only get after a lot of practice in Python, or you have like read through some of the books. For me, it was through books itself that I got to know about this point, and also it was asked to me in my interviews as well. So that is the reason why I've included this right over here, to let you guys know, because this isn't something that you will be finding it out anywhere else. Okay, and this is very important because it's a very like less known fact. It is asked in interviews a lot. Okay, so please try to understand this very carefully and listen to me very carefully what I'm saying right over here. Floats are an approximation to the number they represent. First of all, register this entire line in your brain. Floats are an approximation to the number they represent. A float can represent a large range of numbers, and Python must use approximation to represent their numbers. Okay, so for example, when you're writing 0.3, 0.23, when you're writing 0.23 in Python, it is basically stored as 0.230000000000000123 or something like that. It is not exactly saved as 0.23. It is stored a bit more than 0.23, and that is the reason why floats are also called as an approximation to the number they represent. Okay, floats are also called as an approximation to the number they represent. It is not stored, okay, it is not stored exactly as 0.23. It is stored a little bit more than 0.23. Okay, so now why does Python store the floats as like a little bit more and as an approximation to the number that you wanted to be saved in the memory? This is to make sure that the precision, Python is able to maintain the precision of the number. That is, when you are dividing a number by something, or when you are multiplying it by another decimal point, it is able to maintain that many number of decimal points as well. It is able to maintain that number of decimal points as well. That is called as precision. Precision is a particular concept from mathematics, not a particular concept from computer science. It is a particular concept from mathematics itself. That is called as the precision of the decimal point. Up till how many decimal points do I want to keep my number saved? Up till how many decimal points do I want to show the answer to the user? That is called as precision of a number. Okay, and Python needs to showcase the precision of these decimal points to a very large extent, so that to make sure that it is easily available. Okay, it is easily available to Python. That is, when you're dividing it by something or multiplying it by something, it is saving the number as a it is increasing the precision by a little bit. Okay, I'm like talking about like 10 to the power 12th of like the number. It's like a very small percent of the number. It is just increasing. As you're able to see, it's like very, very insignificant. Very, very insignificant. Okay. So when you directly use, okay, when you directly use this particular number, when you are doing multiplication, division, addition, subtraction using 0.23, it will most probably, in most of the times, it will ignore everything, because this is so small that Python automatically ignores it. It is so small. This entire precision is so small that the Python automatically ignores it. But this is the case. Let's try to understand. Let us try to look at an example to see like if this is true or not. If I'm saying something, you shouldn't take that for granted. Okay, you shouldn't take that for granted. Like, sure, I said it, it must be true. We should first check it out ourselves. So let us go back to our code. Let us try to check that out right over here. Okay, so here what I've done is I'm adding 0.23 30 times. I'm adding 0.23 30 times. Can somebody let me know what should be the answer? If I'm adding 0.23 30 times, what should be the answer, guys? Please do let me know. The answer should be 6.9, guys. Okay, so the answer should be 6.9. So on the left hand side, we know that according to us, because we are writing 0.23 added 30 times, the answer should be 6.9. Okay, so, and I've written 6.9 on the right hand side as well. On the left hand side, I am having 6.9. On the right hand side, I am having 6.9. Now, this is an operator. Okay, this is an operator. Just like you are having the assignment operator, this is equal to sign. You are having the arithmetic addition operator. You are having the multiplication operator. Now, this is the operator where that basically checks whether the left hand side is equal to the right hand side or not. This equal to operator basically checks whether the left hand side is equal to the right hand side or not. According to us, yes, on the left hand side we should be getting 6.9. On the right hand side as well we have 6.9. So they should be equal. The answer should be true. If both of them, if the LHS is equals to RHS, the answer would be true. The LHS is not equal to RHS, the answer would be false. So what do you think will the answer be according to your knowledge, not according to something that I have told? What, according to you, what should be the answer of this particular entire equation, this operation? What should be the answer, guys? If the LHS is equal to RHS, it should be true. If the LHS is not equal to RHS, the answer should be false. So what should be the answer of this particular print statement? Can somebody let me know? Just guess it. Even if you don't know, just apply your brain. Okay, so yes, 6.9 should be equal to 6.9. At the end of the day, 0.23 added 30 times should be equal to 6.9. Okay, but when I'm running this, that is not the case. I'm getting false as my answer. Let us check what is the exact answer that I'm getting. Let us check what is the exact answer I'm getting. I'm getting 6.900000006. Heading 6.9, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, a lot of zeros, and then 6. I'm not getting exactly 6.9 as the answer. Why is that the case? Because internally Python is storing 0.23, having a lot many number of precisions, and then at the end you're having 1, 2, 3. When added 30 times, that insignificant digits at the very end, start accumulating over each other. This is the same as droplets of water form the entire ocean. Okay, like in Hindi we call it boon boon se sagar banta hai. Okay, like droplets of water basically forms an entire ocean. The same thing is happening right over here. This insignificant decimal points to maintain the precision of the number started accumulating, and that accumulation led to something that couldn't be ignored by Python. And hence we are getting false as our answer. Are you guys able to understand? This is why floats are an approximation to the number they represent. Are you able to understand up till here? Those who are not able to understand, do not write I am not able to understand. Write what you are not able to understand so that I am able to understand that. Okay? Those who are not able to understand this, write exactly what you are not able to understand so that I am able to help you guys out. Okay? If you're not able to understand this, please let me know exactly what you're not able to understand so that I'm able to answer it, guys. So why they are not exact, Manish? The reason for that is that Python in floats basically float store is as an approximation to the number they represent. Not the exact number, to maintain the number of precision, of the number itself. Okay, to maintain the precision of the number itself. Okay, 6 point at the last it is 6, guys. Okay, as you're able to see, this is 6. Many of you might not be able to see. Okay, it's 0.6.90000, and last there is 6. It's not 0. That is the reason why both of them are not equal. Okay. Okay, but there is something interesting, man. There is also something very interesting right over here. If I remove this and put it up as multiplied by 30, if I do 0.23 multiplied by 30 equal to 6.9, what do you think the answer would be? Guys? If I'm doing 0.23 multiplied by 30 and I'm checking the equality to 6.9, could you let me know what will be the answer, guys? Even though multiplication is nothing else but repeated addition at the very end, but that's the concept that only you guys are taught to understand multiplication. But when I'm running this, the answer is true. Why is that the case? Let's try to understand this. So Python tries to optimize. Python knows that how it is saving float in its background is an approximation to the number they represent. So it has some optimizations that it is able to do on top of it. Okay, so when you are multiplying it, 0.23 multiplied by 30, Python knows that all the additions that you are going to do, all the additions that it has to do, it will have the addition number as 0.23 itself. Okay, it will always have the addition of 0.23. So every time it is adding it up, it refreshes the decimal point. Okay, for example, it will be doing 0.23. So it does not add it up. Basically, there is a mathematics happens like this. Okay, it's not added up right over there. But just try to make you understand. Python understands that 0.23 is going to be added 30 times. It is all the numbers are the same. Because this is multiplication. So Python is able to have an approximation in which it just removes the decimal point. It just removes the additional number at the very end in the decimal point, and then whatever the new value is, that is 6.9, it just saves it as 6.90000000123. That can again be ignored, so it is equal to 6.9. But why does this not happen in addition? In addition as well, we were adding 0.23 30 times. In addition as well, we were having 0.23 30 times. So why not, like, why was Python not able to apply this optimization right over there? Because right over there, Python wasn't able to identify that all the numbers that you're adding is the same, because at once it was only able to look at two numbers. Okay, 0.23 plus 0.23 plus 0.23, that will be written as 0.23 plus 0.46 plus 0.23. So Python is able to see that these two numbers are now different. The next line will be 0.69 plus 0.23. Again, these two numbers are different. So Python is not able to apply that optimization right over here, because at once Python is only able to see two numbers. But just think about it. If you are able to see the entire, all the numbers together, you will be able to identify that all the numbers are 0.23 and you can apply that optimization. But when you're adding stuff up, you're not able to see everything. You are only able to see two numbers that you're adding up. You're only able to see two numbers that you're adding up at the same point. Okay? Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know. What is precision and why to maintain it? Okay, so precision is the number of decimal points that you want to maintain. Okay, for example, I don't know if you guys know like what is a 32-bit integer or 64-bit integer or something like that. But basically after the decimal point, there is up to a particular number of zeros that it can maintain. Okay, it can contain like that many number of zeros, like 10 to the power minus 32. That is the amount of decimal points that it can contain. So Python has to manage that as well. Okay, to be able to manage that, okay, when you're writing 0.23 divided by or multiplied by 0.23 or something like that, it has to produce a result that goes up till that many number of decimal points. Again, that is called as maintaining the precision of the number, and that is the reason why we are having this. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know. Again, Abdul Suban Tariq, like I said again and again, okay, like I said, I've said again and again, it's not a, so just like look at this. Is not 0.6.90000. At the end, there is a 6 as well. Okay, so for Abdul Tariq, please look at this. There is a 6 at the end. It's not 0. There's a 6 at the end. Okay. Aman Singh, like I said, there are international students in these boot camps. Also, there are some students from South India who are not very comfortable with Hindi. And this is a boot camp that is catering to every single person. And English is a mode of communication that we have taken up because students in these boot camps, we are expecting them to like be like applying for jobs and everything. So when you are doing that, you need to understand English. So for that reason, the mode of communication will only be in English. Okay. Okay. So then look at the next data type that we are going to learn. That is the Boolean data type. Okay. That is the Boolean data type. So let us look at the Boolean data type comparison and logical operators as well. Okay, so bool is another data type that is commonly used in Python. Bool is a short form for Boolean. Okay, bool is a short form for Boolean, which can have a value of either true or false. So we have already learned. So most of you, I think, so are 11th standard graduates. Am I right? Most of you are 11th standard graduates. Please let me know. Guys, most of you are 11th standard graduates. Please do let me know. Great. So I think so most of you have covered physics, and in physics you have learned about logic gates, if you remember that. Guys, do you remember logic gates? Please do let me know. Most of you must have remembered logic gates. So 11th standard graduate is like, how can I explain 11th standard graduate? Like first standard, second standard, similarly 11th standard, 12th standard, then you go into college. I can only like make you guys understand like that. Like I also have no answer to that. Okay, so most of you have learned about logic gates as well. In logic gates, you are having ones and zeros. That was called as Boolean values. Okay, it's the same thing right over here, where one is true and zero is false. So we are basically understanding this exact same concept. Boolean algebra is a branch of algebra in which the values of the variables are either true or false, that is ones or zeros. Okay, Boolean algebra is the framework upon which every electronic device is built. So we are very familiar with this because we have already learned this in your 11th standard physics classes itself. So I don't think so I need to repeat this. So we'll directly go into the code itself. Okay. So right over here, as you're able to see, Python awesome. Okay, we are creating a variable and we are saving the value of true inside of it. Okay, we are saving the value of true inside of it. So if I'm running this particular line of code, okay, then you are getting, so you are saving the value inside of it. So basically your 1 is basically true and your 0 is basically false. Okay, that's it. So now you can use comparison operators to compare two values and produce Boolean results as well. Yes, 11th class. Okay, so you are having a is equals to 3 greater than 1. Is 3 greater than 1? Yes, 3 is greater than 1. So this comparison operator will produce a value that is true, and the answer that will be in A would be true in value. So I'm looking at this, 3 greater than 1. Yes, 3 is greater than 1. So that will give us a true value and will be saved inside of A. Similarly, we can have 3 is greater than equal to 1, 3 is less than equal to 1, 3 is less than 1, 3 is equal to 1. That basically checks whether the left hand side is equal to the right hand side or not. 3 is not equal to 1, so that is an exclamation mark and then equal to. It basically checks if 3 is not equal to 1 or not. Okay, if I'm checking 3 equal to 1, is 3 is equals to 1, is 3, the value 3 equal to 1? No, 3 is not equal to 1. So this will result to me in a value that is false. This will result to me in a value that is false. These are called as comparison operators. These are called as comparison operators. Your AND, OR, NOT, XOR, all those are called as logical operators, guys. Okay, so I don't think so I need to like make you guys understand what is a logical operator. Please do let me know. How many of you do not know what is a logical operator, like AND, OR, NOT? You don't know what is an AND or NOT? Okay, please let me know. How many of you don't know like logical operators? Please let me know, guys. How many of you don't know logical operators? That is like and, or, not. These are the things that you have studied in your physics classes as well. Okay. Okay, there are still many people who don't know. No issue. So I will just have a quick intro about them. Okay. So your AND operator. Okay, your AND operator, OR operator, and NOT operator. Let us try to understand all these three operators. Just a quick revision. Okay, so all of them take in two values. Okay, all of them take in two values, A and B. Okay, A and B. Okay, so let us take A, B, and the answer. A, B, and the answer. And NOT basically takes in just one operator and gives you the answer right over here. Okay, so right over here, AND basically takes a one value that is true and true. Okay, I'm representing true by 1. I'm representing false by 0. Then the next combination can be 1 and 0, 0 and 1, 0 and 0. Similarly, OR can take 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Or NOT will basically take 1 or 0 as the answer because it does not have anything else to it. Okay, so now and okay, in AND both of the questions, both of the operators should be same. Both of the operators should be same to give you the correct answer. So both of them true should be true. So true and true, both of the sides are true, then the answer would be true. True and false, the answer would be false. False and true, the answer would be false. False and false would be answer would be false right over here. Similarly, in the OR gate, if either one of them is also true, the answer would be true. If either one of them would be true, the answer would be true. So 1 or 1, 1. 1 or 0, 1. 0 or 1, 1. 0 or 0, 0 right over here. Okay. Then you are having 1 and 0. Okay. So NOT will basically make the inverse of the question. Whatever has been given to you, it will be making the exact inverse. So 1 will become 0 and 0 will become 1. As simple as that. That is basically fuck. Aryan should be false and false should be true. Eh, eh, eh. In AND gate, both the sides are true, only then the answer is true. Okay, if both the sides are true, then only if the answer is true. Okay. Okay. So just that is the entire gist of AND, OR, and NOT gates. And we'll be using that right now. Okay. So right over here, we can use a combination of logical and comparison operators to do Boolean algebra. We can use your like combination of logical operators as well as your comparison operators to do something that is called as Boolean algebra. Okay, so right over here, I'm having rent is equals to 1200. Okay, I'm having rent is equals to 1200. Is affordable rent greater than 1000 and rent less than 2000? So first let us replace the rent by its value, 1200 and 1200 right over here. Is 1200 greater than 1000, guys? Is 1200 greater than 1000, guys? Yes, it's greater. So the answer would be true right over here. Okay, the answer would be true. Similarly, is 1200 less than 2000, guys? Is 1200 less than 2000? Then the answer would be true. Again, true. Then true and true. We have right now learned that true and true is always true. True and true is always true. So this will also be true. So is affordable. Is this rent affordable for you guys? Yes, it is affordable. So let us check whether we get the same answer or not. Okay, let us check whether we get the same answer or not. So if I'm running this particular line of code, we get true as the answer. That is how you use Boolean algebra. You are using Boolean algebra right over here, guys. Are you able to understand this? Please let me know. Are you able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Great. Amazing, guys. Amazing. You guys are very smart. I know that. Like, you guys, outstanding performance, man. Uh, Boys played well. Okay, now I have to make it gender neutral. People played well. I don't know, like, if somebody is offended by that as well. So maybe Susie would also be offended, but she's not attending the class. She gets the certificate right away. Okay, so let's continue with the class itself. Then we are having is affordable. We are putting up a not right over here. Okay, we are putting up a not right over here. So we are having this exact same thing. We are having the exact same thing from top. We know that this is true. Okay, we know that this is true. So we can directly replace it by true. So what is not true? Okay, what is not true? Or not true is basically false. Okay, not true is basically false. So the answer should be false. Let us look at if the answer is false or not. Let's run this particular line of code. As you're able to see, the answer is false. Okay, tell me who is Susie? Dude, he is the CEO of this company, the chief entertainment officer. I introduced you guys to her yesterday. Am I right? I introduced you guys to Susie yesterday. She's the CEO of this company, chief entertainment officer. Okay. We will be putting her, like, we are currently making up like her the brand ambassador for the company. Like, everywhere we'll have Susie. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, let's continue with the class. Okay. So first of all, we thought about like making a penguin the brand ambassador of DevTown, but Susie was very offended by that. So that is the reason why she told that I'm the CEO. It's me who decides everything. And that is how the position went to her. Okay, so the next data type that we are going to learn about is strings. Okay, we have already you looked at strings like a lot of time before this as well, as you're able to see right over here. All these are examples of string. Anything written between quotation marks is basically a string. Okay, anything that is written between the quotation marks is basically your string. Okay, so let us look at that. Let us look at that right now. Let us try to understand the data type strings. Now, why it is called as strings? Okay, what is a string in normal English? Can somebody let me know what is the string in normal English? Can somebody let me know? Before you showed her, I thought she was your girlfriend. She is my girlfriend. Okay, she is the breadwinner of this entire house. Okay. So can somebody let me know what is string in normal English, guys? Okay. What is normal English? In normal English, a string is basically normal English a wire. Okay, a wire. A string is basically a string of necklace, a string of pearl, a string of diamonds. Okay, it's basically a wire. That's called as a string. In guitar, you string these strums. See, you strum these strings. Okay, so that is what a string is. So a string of characters in Python. That is why we have given it the name of strings, because strings are basically a string of characters or words. Okay, so right over here, please try to remember this. String is an immutable order of sequence of characters. String is an immutable ordered sequence of characters. Now what does this immutable ordered sequence of character means? We'll be studying it after we have learned lists, not right now, because I don't want you guys to be confused in any way. So once you have learned about lists, then we'll be studying what is the meaning of immutable ordered sequence of characters. Okay, immutable ordered. But right now, please try to remember this line, because tomorrow we are going to learn about this. Once we have completed lists, we will be learning about what is an immutable ordered sequence of characters. But up till then, please do remember this, guys. Please do remember this sentence in your word, because I will be asking you this in tomorrow's class. Okay. Okay, so right over here, you can create a string using double quotation marks as well as a single quotation marks. So early on, our startup was called as Shape AI. So I haven't changed it up till now. Let's change it to DevTown. Let's make it like updated right now. Okay, so right over here, as you're able to see, we can use a double quotation marks or even a single quotation mark to create a string. If I'm running this, it will give me the exact same answer, that is DevTown. Okay, it will give me the exact same answer, that is DevTown right over here. Okay, you can include numbers. Okay, you can include small characters, you can include capital letters as well. Okay, you can include capital letters as well, you can include numbers, you can include special characters, you can include anything inside a string. Okay, you can include anything inside a string. Okay, as you're able to see, we are able to print out our motto, and anything that you want to write, you can print it out in our string itself. There is no difference between the double quotation mark and the single quotation mark. You can use the double quotation mark to create a string, you can use the single quotation mark to create a string as well. Okay, now we have already studied about types. If you remember, type basically is an inbuilt function in Python that gives you the type or data type of the object. Let us look at the data type of the object motto. We are getting str or string. Okay, we are getting str, that is the full form for string. Okay. Strings can contain any character, number, symbol, space within the quotes. Okay. However, if you want to have quotes inside the quotes, you are getting an error. For example, right over here, you are having a quotation. Okay. Shiva said, "You learn as you grow." But inside this quotes as well, you want to include another quotation mark. Okay. Inside the quotation mark, to create a string, you want to have quotation marks inside the string as well. Now, when you are running this particular line of code, it will give you an error. Okay, when you are running this big line of code, you are giving an error. So how can we include quotation marks within a string? How can we use quotation marks inside a string itself? Let us try to understand that. There are two ways in which Python handles this for us. There are two ways in which Python handles this for us. Okay, the first one is, if you want to include a double quotation mark inside the string, if you want to put a double quotation mark inside the string, then you create the string using single quotation mark. Now, why is that the case? Let us try to understand this. Why is that the case that we were having a problem right over here? So what does Python do? What does Python do? To identify a string, okay, to identify a string, the Python looks at the first quotation mark. The first quotation mark is a double quotation mark. Now Python will try to find another double quotation mark to end the string. Because the first quotation mark is a double quotation mark, Python will try to find another double quotation mark to end the string. So we'll just scan through the entire string. Okay, it will just scan through the entire string. As soon as it is finding another double quotation mark, it will end the string right over here. It will end the string right over here. Now anything after that is just gibberish that you have written. Anything after that is just gibberish that you have written. Again, when you are getting a quotation mark right over here, okay, again when you're getting a quotation mark right over here, again it starts with a new string, okay, and this does not has anything inside of it. It ends up with the second quotation mark itself, and that is why you're getting the error right over here. Now the first option is that, for example, I want to use double quotation mark inside my string. In that particular case, I can create the entire string into single quotation mark. So when you are starting out when you're starting out from right over here, it is starting out from a single quotation mark. So we'll scan the string to find another single quotation mark to end the string. Okay, we'll try to find another single quotation mark to end the string. As soon as it is reaching a double quotation mark, it does not care for that because it is looking for another single quotation mark to end the string. So it will move further with that. We'll try to find another single quotation mark. As soon as it is finding another single quotation mark, that is where it will be ending the string. But what if you want to include both a double quotation mark as well as a single quotation mark inside the same string? What to do at that point of time? Okay, what to do at that point of time when you want to have double quotation mark as well as single quotation mark inside that string? Okay, so yes, you can do the exact opposite. For example, if you wanted to use a single quotation mark inside your string, you could have created the entire string into a double quotation mark. Okay, you could have created the entire string into double quotation mark so that you are able to avoid the single quotation mark right over there. So the next thing that you can do is you can use something called as an escape character. Okay, if you want to use, you can use as an escape character. Okay, so how would you be using an escape character, guys? For example, you are creating this particular string using a single quotation mark, but you also have a single quotation mark within the string. Now the escape character, this backslash that you are able to see, that's called an escape character. That basically tells Python that whatever is the next character, whatever character is just after this escape character, there is no special meaning to it. It does not contain any special meaning to Python. So if I am this particular escape character, Python reaches to me, I basically tell him that whatever character is standing right beside me, whatever is the next character, you don't concern with him. He just looks like he's special, but he's really dumb. Okay, don't think about him as a special child. Just move further. Okay, continue scanning with the rest of the string. Don't look at him. Okay, he's mine. Okay, that is what this escape character is basically telling to Python. Okay, so when Python starts scanning the entire string, it first starts with a single quotation mark. So it is finding another single quotation mark to end the string. It will move on from right over here. As soon as it is reaching the backslash, that is the escape character, Python escapes the next character. Python does not scan the next character itself. It scans the R directly. It reaches R the next time, and then it just avoids the single quotation mark. It moves further, and then at the very end it is getting the single quotation mark, and that is how it is able to get. Okay, so if I'm printing it out, as you're able to see, we are getting the single quotation mark into our string as well. Okay, we are getting the single quotation mark as our string as well. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. This is Python. In Python, you don't need a quotation mark at the end. Okay, you don't need a quotation mark at the end, guys. Okay. Just try to understand this. Very simple. If you want to tell Python that this particular single quotation mark has no value to you, this is not the end of the string, just put an escape character before this, and Python will just ignore that particular character. Python will just ignore that particular character for you. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Let us move to the next thing that's called as concatenation. Now, when you are adding two different stuff up using the addition symbol in like integers or floats, it was adding stuff up. It was adding integers or floats together. Okay, but you can also use the addition symbol on strings and well, and that is called as concatenation. And that is called as concatenation, guys. Okay, you can use the addition symbol on strings as well, and that is called as concatenation. So that basically concatenation concatenation basically means that you are concatenating, you are attaching two strings together to create a single string. You are attaching two or more strings together to create a single string. For example, right over here you are having hello world. So if you are attaching two strings together, you are getting hello world, a single string as your answer. Similarly, right over here we are attaching three strings together, hello, then a space, and then a word. Okay, hello, then a space, and then a word. Okay, so you are attaching three strings together, so you are getting hello world and hello space world as our answer. That is a single string. Hello world and hello space world is our single string right over here that we can create using multiple strings. Okay, we can create using multiple strings. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Those who haven't understood the backslash, okay, you basically don't want Python to understand that this is the end of the string, okay, because you're starting with a single quotation mark. You don't want Python to understand that this is the entire string itself. They're basically using the backslash to tell Python that to escape the next character. The next character has no special meaning, just escape the next character. So Python thinks that, okay, it has no meaning, it is a part of a string, and it moves on. That is the use as your backslash. Yes, Python is case sensitive. We have already discussed it yesterday. Okay, so that is how you are able to use concatenation right over here. Okay, the next thing that is that you can also use the multiplication. So what is multiplication? Multiplication is repeated addition. So basically writing word, okay, word multiplied by 5 basically means word plus word plus word plus word 5 times. Okay, that is basically concatenating word to each other 5 times. So you'll get hello attached to each other 5 times right over here. You cannot do subtraction or division on strings. Okay, you cannot do something like okay, hello wideness word. Okay, this is not something that you can do. It will give you an error. You cannot do subtraction on strings. You will get unsupported operand types for subtraction, string and string. You cannot do subtraction. You cannot do division as well. You cannot do division on strings as well. Okay, you can only do addition and multiplication. You can only do addition and multiplication, guys. Okay, please remember this. Okay, so let's move on to the next particular thing, guys. Okay, another important inbuilt function in Python is the len function. Okay, len function, guys. So len function is basically that will give you the length of your string, that will give you the number of characters present in your string. For example, if I'm having DevTown right over here, it will count the number of characters in the string itself. Okay, it will count the number of characters in the string. So you're having 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 characters right over here. So the length of this particular string is 7. Okay, but what do you think, guys? What will be the answer of this? If I'm having dev space town, what will be the length of this particular string, guys? Okay, what will be the length of this particular string, guys? Can somebody let me know? 8. Yes, so it will count the space as well as one of the characters. It will count the space as one of the characters as well, because it is a character, it is taking up space. Okay, so that is the reason why length will then return 8 back to us. If I'm running this line of code, we are getting 8 back to us. Okay, so please remember, len is an inbuilt function in Python that gives you the length, the number of characters present in the string itself. It gives you the number of characters present in the string itself. Okay. Okay, now let us look at type and type conversion revision. So right over here, we have already studied about type. Okay, so we are having 75, that would be an integer, 75.0, that will be a float, in quotation 75, and then true. Are you able to see the value 75? Okay, the value 75 right over here is represented into three different, okay, three different like data types. Okay, the value is, yes, len will count underscore and other characters as well. Every single character that you are putting up inside a string will be counted. Okay, right over here you are able to see 75 as a value being represented in 3 separate data types. Okay, as you are able to see, if we are running this particular line of code, we are able to get int, float, str and bool as our answer. Int, float, str and bool as our answer. So we have already studied about this. There's nothing new to it. Okay, the next thing that we want to see is, okay, so we can convert an integer to a float. We already know that, so that is not something that we want to discuss. Now, what about converting an integer to a string? Okay, what about converting an integer to a string? Let us try to understand that. So right over here, you are having the subject as coding, the semester as first, and the marks as 15. Okay, marks as 15. I'm trying to concatenate. I'm trying to create a sentence that basically tells me that I scored 15 marks in this particular encodings during my first semester. This is a sentence that I want to create. Okay, this is a sentence that I want to create, that I scored 15 in coding during my first semester. This is what I want to do. Okay, so for that, I cannot concatenate a string with an integer. I cannot concatenate a string with an integer. I cannot do I scored and then just concatenate with an integer, because as you're able to see, marks is an integer right over there. Marks is an integer right over there. Okay, so we need to convert this marks as well into string. Okay, we need to convert this marks as well into string. Okay, so we just have to put it into parentheses and write str. If you're not doing that, if you're trying to run this particular line of code, we'll get an error. We get an error that you can only concatenate a string to a string and not an int. Okay, you cannot concatenate an int to a string. Okay, you cannot concatenate an int to a string, guys. Okay, so I need to convert this marks into string, and that is as easy as writing str in front of it. Just like we were converting an integer to a float or a float to an int. In the same way, we can convert an integer to a string or a float to a string as well. Okay, we can convert a float to a string as well by directly writing str in front of it. So if I'm running this particular line of code, you are able to see that I've made I scored 15 in coding during my first semester. Okay, I scored 15 in coding during my first semester. Okay, so right over here, like I said, you cannot concatenate an integer to a string. You cannot concatenate an integer to a string. So first I have to convert that I have to convert that integer marks into string and then concatenate it with another string. Okay, are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. You guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Somebody is, but I'm confused in quotes in concatenation. So okay, so quotes and concatenation. So each of these quotes basically create one string. Okay, each of these quotes basically create one pair of quotes create a string. So this is one string, this is another string, this is another string, this is another string, then this is another string right over here, and then you're having the addition symbol in the middle that basically concatenates this two string together. Okay, I hope that is clear. Somebody had that doubt? Okay, great. So we can also create, okay, we can, you're having marks as a string right over here. Okay, you're having marks as a string right over here. You can convert it into a float as well. You can convert it into a float as well. So print all case marks. As you're able to see, we will be converting 15, that is a string, to a float right over here. So if I'm running this line of code, we're getting 15.0 as our answer. We're getting 15.0 as our answer. Is it mandatory to submit the project for certificate for Hotstar Clone Bootcamp? Of course, Anshu. Okay. Can we convert float to a string? Of course, it's the same process. String, then the float. You'll be able to convert the float to a string as well. Right over here, we are converting a string to a float. Okay, we are converting a string to a float. So you can even do that as well. Okay, guys. Great. Okay, so this is one of the most important methods in format, guys, that you guys need to remember very accurately. Okay, so right over here, when you were writing this entire huge line of code, okay, when you were writing this huge line of code, you just wanted to include marks, subject, and semester into this entire like string. Okay, you just wanted to include marks, subject, and semester in this entire string. You had to write so much of concatenation. This is like a very big piece of code and very cumbersome as well. Many plus symbols that you have to write right over there. To deal with it, we are having another like method that is called as format, and this format method is usually used a lot when you are dealing with like training your machine learning models. Okay, it is used a lot right over there. That is the reason why I put it up right over here. Okay, so for example, the same sentence, if I wanted to create it using the format method, this exact same thing I wanted to do using the format method right over here, I just had to write the string that is I scored 15 in my first semester. Let me just copy the string. I don't want to type it out again. Okay, then I will just remove 15. Here I will put up a curly brackets. So just like fill in the blanks, I'm just creating a fill in the blanks right over here. The subject, I will again create a fill in the blanks here as well. Semester, again I will just create a fill in the blanks here. So I scored dash in dash during my dash semester. Okay, I scored dash in dash during my dash semester right over here. And then I will be using the dot format. Okay, dot format method, and then I just have to write 15. That is the answer to these fill in the blanks. I just have to write the answer to this fill in the blanks. 15, okay, subject, and then semester, semester. I just have to write I scored dash in dash during my dash semester, dot format, and then the answer to these fill in the blanks. I don't even have to convert my 15, that is an integer, to a string. I don't even have to convert that integer to a string. Like I can even put marks right over here. So marks is basically your integer. Okay, you can put up marks as well. Like I just wrote 15 like to do it quickly. You can put up marks right over here as well. You don't even require to convert it to a string. Format will already handle that for you. What this basically you're doing is you're creating this entire fill in the blank, you're providing the answer to this fill in the blanks, and format, if it is an integer, if it is a float, it will already handle that for you. It will convert it to a string automatically and then fill in these blanks. So you'll get the exact same answer. I scored 15 in coding during my first semester. Okay, I scored 15 in coding during my first semester. You already get that answer easily. Okay, that is the use of the format method. It is like you are creating fill in the blanks. You are creating the question, you are creating the answer, and then you don't even have to deal with like, okay, this is a float, I need to convert it into a string or something like that. It will automatically do that for you. It will automatically do that for you guys. Okay. Okay, so let's look at the examples that we are having right over here. Muhammad has dash balloons. Okay, Muhammad has that dash balloons. Dot format 27. What will be the answer, guys? What will be the answer? Muhammad has 27 balloons. Okay, Muhammad has 27 balloons. Okay, so it will just replace this fill in the blanks with the answer. Okay, similarly right over here, does your dash dash. Okay, does your dash dash animal action. So it will, the first fill in the blanks will be filled up by the first answer, the second fill in the blanks will be filled up by the second answer. Does your dog bite. Let us look at the answer right over here. Does your dog bite. Similarly, you are having the example 3. Maria loves dash and dash. Maria loves dash and dash. So no, Susie doesn't bite. Okay. So you're having Maria string, that is the string. So this is a variable. Variable basically contains the value that is present inside. So that is basically the string itself. Dot format, math and statistics. So Maria loves math and statistics right over here. So this is how you're easily able to use the format method. Now where this is used, wherever you want to put a variable inside a string. For example, when you're training your machine learning models, there's a concept of epochs and how many like loops have been completed, how many images have been trained. So you have to put that data out on your screen. At that point of time, you will have to print something like out of this many number of images, this many number of images have been trained, this many number of loops have been completed out of this many number of loops. At that point of time, you will be using this format method. Okay, you will be using this format method. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand this? Please let me know, guys. I think so. I told you guys yesterday that from today onwards, we'll be having 1.5 hours of classes. If I'm not wrong, I've told you guys yesterday itself that from today, we'll be having 1.5 hours of classes. If I'm not wrong. Oh, that is basically like to print out like, okay, this is the example 1, then this is the example 2, this is the example 3. That's just for like, just writing purposes. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I had told you guys that today we'll be having classes of 1.5 hours long. Okay. Okay, so lists and membership operators. So let's start out with a bit of lists as well. Okay. Or should we do it tomorrow? What do you guys think? Should we start out with lists or should we do it tomorrow? I'm looking for the people who were like answering my questions properly, so I will be only taking up the those names that I was able to see. They were answering my questions mostly. They're saying as well tomorrow. Okay, no issues. I thought that you guys were enjoying the class or something like that. I think so. We should start off with lists as well today itself. It would be easier to complete it tomorrow, then we won't be having to extend our days or something like that. Okay, so let's start it with today itself. So list and membership operator. So what is data structures? So all these data types that you're having, okay, some of it is like, think about it, you are having strings, you're having lists, sorry, you are having strings, you're having integers, you're having floats, you're having Boolean. Okay, so think about it as objects. Something is like square, something is triangle in shape, something is circular in shape, something is cuboidal in shape. Okay, now you need a bucket, you need a container so that you are able to carry or organize these different data types, these different objects together. You need a bucket, a container to be able to organize and carry these different data types together. And that is where the concept of data structures come into place. Data structures are containers that organize and group data types together in different ways. Okay. So data structures are containers that organize and group data types together in different ways. Okay, a list is one of the most common and the basic data type in Python. It is a mutable ordered sequence of elements. Can somebody remind me what was strings? Can somebody? So list is mutable ordered sequence of elements. Can you guys let me know what is strings, guys? Please do let me know. Can you guys remember what was strings? Like I have told you guys, list is mutable ordered. So what was string, guys? Okay, what was strings? Immutable and ordered. Strings was immutable and ordered. So we will be understanding about what is mutability, what is ordered, all this kind of stuff. Don't worry about it. So right over here we are creating a string. This is how you are able to create a list. Okay, this is how you are able to create a list easily. So you name that list. So this list is named as students, that is plural. Okay, and then you are creating the list as you are having a rectangular brackets on both the ends, and the elements of that list, that is Sam, Pam, Rocky, Austin, Steve, Banner, and that has been like separated by commas. This is how you create a simple list inside of Python. Again, a very simple list inside of Python right over here. Okay, you can access these elements from the list. You can get access to these elements from the list using their addresses, using their indexes. Let's just try to understand that. Okay. So right over here, whenever you go to a very well organized society, okay, there are some houses right over here. Okay, there are some houses right over here. Each of these houses have a number associated with them. Okay, so this address of this house is 0, address of this house is 1, address of this house is 2, address of this house is 3, address of this house is 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, similar to that, when you're creating a list, Sam, Pam, Rocky, Austin, Steve, Banner. Okay, when you're creating a list as well, each of them have an address or an index associated with them. That is all the ways that we will be starting the count from 0, because Python, like JavaScript and in many other languages as well, is a zeroth index language. So indexing starts from 0. The addressing starts from 0. Okay, so Sam will have an address of 0, index of 0. Pam will have an index of 1. Rocky will have an index of 2. Austin will have an index of 3. Steve will have an index of 4. Banner will have an index of 5. Okay, so if you want to get access to Austin, the name of this particular list is students. You just have to write students and then the index, the address of that particular element that you want to access. Right over here, the address is 3, and that will basically give you the access to the name Austin. Okay, it will give you the access to the name Austin. So Python is a zeroth indexed language itself. Okay, zeroth indexed language. So the indexing starts from 0. Okay, the indexing starts from 0 because Python is a zeroth indexed language. Okay, so let us look at this. Right over here, you can access. So you are having Sam, Pam, Rocky, Austin, Steve, Banner. You can access the first element by the index 0, the next element by 1, and after that you can access it by 2. Okay, so this will give you Sam, Pam, and Rocky as your answer. Sam, Pam, and Rocky as your answer right over here. Okay, the next thing that you need to understand is, you're having 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What about -1, -2? So if this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. There's nothing called as minus. First of all, please, those students who are telling what about -0? There's nothing called as -0. Okay, it's just 0. Okay, so -1 is the last element. Then you're having -2, -3, -4, -5, and -6. There is nothing called as -7. Okay, there's nothing called as -7. There's nothing called as +6. Okay, it is 0 to 5 and then -1 to -6. So you can get access to a particular element. For example, Steve can be accessed by both 4 and -2. Steve can be accessed by both 4 and -2. So you can access Steve by writing either students and then -2, or students and then +4. You can access Steve by both the indexes. Okay, are you guys able to understand? Please let me know, guys. Are you guys able to understand? Please let me know, guys. Again, this is just the indexing. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. Okay, so you can get access to a particular element by both its positive and the negative indexes as well. So let's look at that as well. Let's look at it in code. As you're able to see, -1, -2, -3 will give you the access to the last 3 elements. That is Banner, Steve, and Austin. That will give you the Banner, Steve, and Austin. So let us run this particular line of code. You're getting Banner, Steve, and Austin printed on your screen. Okay. Now, like I said, there is nothing called as, so for example, for this, there is nothing like -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. There's nothing called as -7. Okay, there's nothing called as -7. There's nothing called as +6. Okay, there's nothing called as +6 right over there. Okay, please remember this. Okay, so right over here, if I try to access 20, 20 does not exist. Okay, this address does not exist. This index does not exist. So you're having index error, list index out of range. Okay, list index out of range. Similarly, if you're trying to access something like -8, again, this index does not exist. Okay, this address does not exist. So we'll give you an index error, that is list index out of range right over here. Okay. Okay, so let me stop right over here itself. Otherwise, you guys will just eat my brains out. Okay. So currently there are 2,100 people live with us right now. So can we expect that the number of likes will be up to 2000? Okay, before showing the attendance, once we have hit the target of 2000 likes, then we will show the attendance link. How about that? How about that, guys? Thank you so much, Satvik. It's great to hear that you like the today's session itself. Okay, so let's take the target to 2000 likes, guys. Then I will show you the attendance link. Okay. So Susie is actually the CEO. She's a bit busy with her work, man. Okay. Are you guys able to understand everything? Are you guys able to enjoy the session, guys? Please let me know. Are you guys able to understand and enjoy the session, guys? Please do let me know. Okay, great. That's a really amazing to listen to. Okay, so you can of course connect with me on LinkedIn or Instagram as well. You can connect with DevTown on LinkedIn and Instagram as well. It will be great to meet you guys right over there and talk to you in the meanwhile. Okay. Let us take up the. I will be showing you the attendance link once we have reached our target of 2000 likes. Once we've reached the target of 2000 likes, then I will show you the attendance link, guys. Okay. Okay. How did you decide that you wanted to be in this field? So I am one of the person who hated programming in general, like not due to the fact that I was bad at it, but the instructors that I had when I was in school, they weren't able to like increase the like curiosity that I had at the end of the day. And that is why I used to see like all the people who were very good in computers were all like gaming players and all those, like they will play like Dota 2, they will play like good quality games and all that, and I was like, I sucked at playing video games like very bad. I bought like when PS2 was released at that point of time, I bought the latest PS2 and I started playing a game. I couldn't even cover up like the first level of that game itself. So I decided like these people are great at coding, these people are great at gaming as well. So to be great at coding, you need to be great at programming as well. So I just correlated both of them and I understood that it was not for me. But later on, when I started doing it on my own, I started developing projects. I got money for developing projects. I was like, dude, this is great. I get money for doing this. So I'm like, okay, now I'm very interested in this. Now, and see, as a fresher, programming is something that gives you the highest placements. This is what I've seen. Okay, like the students who passed on from right over here, they had a package of 60 lakhs per annum as a fresher just after leaving the college. So that is the main point. Like programming is one of the places where you get the most amount of money, and money is always a very good factor to be on the top. Okay, that is why I went into programming a lot. I sold some of my projects as well for a good amount of money. Do some freelancing, start doing freelancing once you are comfortable with your projects. Okay. Okay, so let us take up the number of likes to at least 2000, guys. There are almost 600 people who haven't liked the video up till now. Once we have like almost 2000 likes, then I will show the attendance link, guys. It's two programming languages is enough with basics in the remaining languages for placements. Programming languages, I don't care how many programming languages do you know. If you know 30 programming languages as well, I don't give a shit about it. That is the reality. Okay, you need to learn only two programming languages, but that is not important. We'll be talking about this on the 5th day of the bootcamp. Don't worry about it. Like what people see. Like I've taken up placements for almost 15 companies up till now. I've already like placed almost 5,000 students from DevTown and ShapeAI up till now. So I know what these companies are looking forward to. So again, programming languages is not what they look forward. Okay, they look forward to your like how many technical knowledge that you're having. Okay, I'm not a blockchain developer. I have a bit of knowledge in that, but I'm not a blockchain developer. I have a friend of mine who's a very good blockchain developer. So I will definitely bring him in like around August or something to get to know you guys as well. Okay. So what does the logo of your channel symbolizes? Okay, so that is basically like we try to make it out like it's a community. Okay, so a community has a shade and the students are the community below it, and also it's like the DevTown, like it's the TO in the middle of DevTown right over there. So that is the basic logo that we are having for DevTown. So Development Town. I know the name is very shitty, but like yeah, that was the best I could come up with. Guys, please let us take up the number of likes to 2000 and then I will show you the attendance link, guys. Up till the point, like, try to make sure that we are reaching 2000 likes and I will be creating the attendance link for today up till that point of time. Wait, this is not the case. I studied in Birla Institute of Technology, guys. We are doing. The second day, I guess. Day. 2 day 1, day. 2 day 1. Where did my day 1 attendance go? Up till the point that I'm making the attendance link, let's try to make sure that we are able to cross 2000 likes, guys. Up till the point when I'm making the attendance link, let us try to make sure that we are able to cross 2000 like, guys. We are only left with 42 likes, guys. Let us try to make sure that we are able to cross the number of likes that are required, 2000, guys. My Instagram ID, like it's shortest. You can just go to DevTown's page. They follow me. So you can get the ID from right over there. So this is the attendance link for today, guys. Okay, you can scan this for the same. This is the attendance link, guys. Please scan the same and you'll be able to get the attendance link for today. Never do 2 internships at the same time, guys. Always try to do one so that you're able to focus upon what is required from it. Okay. Okay. How to scan by using your mobile phone. Okay. Your CGPA. See, always try to keep your CGPA above 7.5. For big companies, that is the case. It does not matter from which college you are, from which branch you are, but always try to keep your CGPA above 7.5. Mine was almost 8.5, and above 8.5 is always great. Above 8.5 is always great. Okay. Can you teach Scala? Okay, that is a good suggestion. We are planning for big data, but let's see how that goes. Like from August, we have a lot of different things that is planned for you guys. We are going to have podcasts with software engineers from Google, Microsoft. We'll look at their resumes. We'll have some like interview questions that they were asked. How did they prepare for it? Like every week, we'll be meeting someone new from a different company, and we'll be looking into their placement records as well. We will also be bringing people from the industry, like who are senior software engineers or MDs of big companies companies as well. We have also planned for like very high level boot camps for you guys, like boot camps that are like just the entire Amazon clone with the backend and front end using React JS, like the entire thing, not just this 7 days. Okay, that will not include React JS. That will just be the project, like 3 days of just making the project right over there. We'll have Next.js, we have Vue.js, we will be introducing new topics in the boot camps. Right now it's just data science and web development. We'll be introducing blockchain, we'll be introducing IoT, we'll be introducing other technologies as well. So there's a lot that we have planned from August. Like we have got a bit of like concessions from different companies right now. They have given us some money because they were able to see our work. So they hired a lot of students from us, and on behalf of that we got some money as well from these companies, and we are reinvesting that money to be able to bring you more instructors to cover these boot camps up, more number of boot camps, more number of events, some hackathons as well, some writing events, some non-technical events. So from August, like mid-August, end of August, we'll be doing a lot many number of things. Let us see if like we are able to get something. Like I'm trying my best, like, but I also don't have enough time. Like I'm spending all my time either teaching or in the boot camp, so or in the office. That is the reason I'm not getting enough time. But from August, there's a lot that I've planned for you guys, and I hope that you guys will also be able to enjoy the entire process. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Thank you. So we'll meet tomorrow. Okay, and we will have an amazing time learning further. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Okay.